What's up, y'all? Turbo LS Dakota back with a new video. This is something I've wanted to do for a while on the truck. I just didn't have A, the funds, and B, couldn't find one for a good deal. I didn't really want to pay full price until now. The boys over at Cook Racing hooked it up with a new intake manifold for the truck. I'll throw them down in the description. I already got a little ahead of myself and sort of installed it. It's test fit right now. I got a lot of things I got to do to make it actually work, but flip the camera around and show you what we got. They hooked it up with a Holley high ram for cathedral port heads, perfect, and a War 102 millimeter throttle body. So far it's fit pretty well. I mean, I really wanted to keep the factory accessories because I already have everything figured out, keeping the belt on and the belt length and everything. So it required a little modification of the alternator. As you can see, I took the whole back cover off and just put the little cover here to cover where the brush is so I don't get material everywhere. And I also had to modify the length of the fuel rail a little bit. You can see there. But I'm an expert precision machinist, so it shouldn't leak. And then I also wanted to retain the injectors I already had. I had a Multec 2 truck style 1500cc injectors. So I just got some injector hat adapters from ICT Billet to adapt them to a LS1 height. We'll see how that works. None of the injectors seem to be shrouded in the ports. I'll show you here on factory injectors. All I did was I took the black cap, this piece, took the black cap off, and these slid right down into the bore and seated well with the O-ring, and it sits right against this chamfer right here, and then the adapter goes on there. There's zero up and down play with the injectors, so hopefully I don't have a leak, but we'll find out. My charge pipe ended up working. All I had to do was get one of these silicone 90 bends because I couldn't get any pipe to bend unless I did pie cuts maybe to get this tight of a radius of a bend. So I just chopped it there and then put a bead roll on another piece and welded it to it. But yeah, once I get a little more progress, I do have to figure out my throttle cable. My throttle cable that I currently have is not going to be long enough no matter which way I try to run it. So I'm either going to find another OEM style one with this end on it that's long enough, or I'm going to have to go for a universal throttle cable. But I think I'm going to mount my regulator the way I had it before on the truck intake. I'll just have to make a new bracket, shorten it so it sits in about the same spot. It'll be down here, obviously, but it should all work out pretty good. I'm excited to see what gains I make, if any, with this. Also, I'm trying out some little lapel mics, so we'll see if that makes any upgrade to the sound. Not that it was bad before, but it was definitely a little echoey in here. Move this box out of the way. Got some other updates for y'all on the truck too. I ended up remaking, let me get a light. Ended up remaking my shifter mount. Need a light. I got too many boxes in here right now. So I ended up remaking the shifter pedestal. Just took a piece of 1.5-inch tubing, made a new base plate and a new top plate, and welded it together so that I could move the bench seat forward a little bit because I felt like I was straining to reach the pedals, and also so I could put a subwoofer in the truck to add a little more, I guess, street car comfort flair to it. So we now have a 10-inch short throw Soundstorm Laboratories subwoofer in a custom box I made years ago, and their 1,000-watt amplifier. This stuff's all, I don't know, 9 years old. I had this in my first truck, so, but it's plenty in this little cab. It definitely, even on its lowest bass setting, is a little too much. So yeah, we will see. Get another shot of this glorious intake in here. See how this thing works out for us. I'm hoping I'm going to leave the tune-up pretty much the same, minus obviously fueling. It's probably going to need a little more fueling. I'm going to have to mess with the idle, going from a 70, I think factory truck intake throttle bodies are 76 millimeter to a 102 mil. You're gonna have to mess with probably some fueling and stuff like that, but I'm gonna leave the boost and the tune-up the same as my best pass at Kinston, where I went a 625 and 114. We're gonna leave the boost the same and see if it picks up any, and maybe try to crack off like a mid to high 5 this year before I put a cage in it. That's the plan for this, is have a 5-second street truck that I can daily drive if I want to, but also it'd be pretty fast. And then once I put a cage in it, try and do some drag and drives in the next year or so. I think that'd be more along the lines of something I'd enjoy, is being able to cruise my truck around and go race and not really have as much pressure to make it rounds, because basically all it matters is that you finish. So yeah, I'd like to try my hand at some drag and drives. I think I'd really enjoy it. So this will just be an added upgrade to the program. All right, we got everything hooked up here. Everything's back on. The studs are installed. As you can see, I got all the O-rings in. Now I have 8 spares, or 7 spares, which is pretty nice. Everything's all installed. We'll run a TPS auto set soon and see if this thing will bark off. But not the biggest fan of how I mounted this regulator. It looks a little janky, so I'm probably gonna have to redo that. But other than that, everything's hooked up. Got everything hooked up in the back. I don't know if you'll see down in there. I got my manifold air temp in there. Map sensor's back there somewhere. I got another pipe plug. Here's my vacuum reference. Hopefully that works. So we'll see. Alright, GPS photos, that was good. Let's see what happens. Alright. AFR looks decent idling, it sounds good. What the see what the IAC's reading. Good. Throttle cable might need a little help. Throttle seems to hang a little bit.